A lot of you guys have been asking. I've always wanted to say that, but I'm joking. A lot of you have not been asking. Well, I guess you guys did ask, but I had to ask you to ask me all of these questions. So here goes. Hi guys, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. Today I am doing something I've never done before, but something I've seen a lot of YouTubers doing, and I just felt as if there's no need for me to do it because I think I talk about my life in every single vlog, every single video, but then someone made me realize that the only people who may know practically everything about me are people who have been subscribed on my channel since day one, and the people who recently subscribed may not know as much because probably they didn't go back and watch my old videos. So I thought, then why not do a get to know me? And at first I was scared because I was just like, does anyone care? Like, is anyone gonna ask me anything? And then I did go on Instagram and on YouTube to ask if you guys can please just like let me know if you have any questions. And I'm shocked at the amount of questions I received. I did not think that you guys actually really cared that much to know about things in my life. But you do, and I'm already an open book. So if you've been subscribed to my channel since day one, everything that I'm going to be saying now is nothing that you don't know. But I'm not saying log off, please stay. But if you're new to my channel, I just thought I'd do this video quickly for you guys so that you don't have to go through all the previous videos to get to know a few things about me. So I'm going to start with questions. Firstly, disclaimer, it's 10 to 11 and at 11 o'clock I'm getting load shedding, so my beautiful fireplace background is going to disappear. So please bear with me. As I mentioned that I asked on YouTube and on Instagram, and both I got responses on both platforms. So I'm going to start with the questions that I asked on YouTube because there's like probably less than 10 of them. Whew, I went through some of these questions and I'm just like, okay. Firstly, I feel like you guys have so much confidence in me, and I'm just like, girl, way. Y'all asking me about parenting advice. Girl, way. I don't know what I'm doing. Nami, I'm just going with the flow. But I'll try my best to answer, obviously, as honestly as I can. So, see, the first question is, what's your biggest advice to your daughters in general? Obviously, with Umilan, she's still young, but something I always want my kids to know is that they are enough. I don't want them to ever feel as if they need to go above and beyond to prove their worth to anyone. I did that, and I think a lot of us do that. Like, we do things that we're not supposed to be doing just to prove that you're worthy to be loved or you're worthy to be in that space, whether it's your workspace, relationship, friendships. We always going above and beyond, and I just want my kids to know, Uguti, your existence is enough. Obviously, work and put in the work in relationships, put in the work in your friendships and work, put in the work. I don't want you to go up above and beyond to prove that you're worth being in somebody's space, especially if they show you that they don't care. Hey Amanda, do you enjoy being a writer, and how do you get through those writing tasks when you feel uninspired or when you're having a writer's block? So before I answer this question, there was a lot of questions asking what do I do for a living. So obviously this question my answer for this question is gonna make sense if you know what I do for a living. So I'm a writer. I am a copywriter. Also sometimes work as a social media manager for the agency I work for. By profession, I'm a journalist. There is someone else also who asked what I studied, so I'm just gonna cover everything here. I studied journalism at TUT in Pretoria, at Tshwane University of Technology, and I worked as a journalist for probably about 8 to 9 years. From 2010, I started working when I was 21, so from 2010 up until 2018, 19, I worked as a full-time journalist for magazines. And after that, I just felt as if, you know what, magazines are fun, you know, like you get free things, you get a lot of stuff for free, like you get free travel, free clothes, free everything, but those things don't pay up the bills. There comes a time where you need money. Unfortunately, the publishing industry doesn't really have money, so I then moved to corporate. I worked for, you know what, I've been protecting them for a very long time. I'm going to name and shame now. I then left the magazine industry and I went to work for Toho Sun. You guys, guys, I initially would say corporate, it's horrible. Like, corporate is horrible. I was there for 2 months and I couldn't stand. I was crying every day. It was just horrible. I resigned with no plan B. And then I started freelancing here and there because I had been working for so long, for like 10 years. I had made a good name for myself in the industry, so people did trust me with freelance work. So I survived by freelancing the whole of 2018 actually. I survived by freelancing, and then in 2019 I got a permanent job as a copywriter for another corporate, but I was actually quite happy there. So yeah, basically I am a writer by profession. I'm a journalist by profession, and then now I just do copywriting for clients here and there, and I also do social media management. To answer the question about writer's block and what I do and I don't feel inspired, most of the times I'm not inspired anyway. Like, writer's block is a real thing. It'll take you forever. Like, sometimes I go outside, I guess, and I stop doing what I do and I focus on something else, whether it's cooking or just being outside. So I don't know how to actually answer that question sounding smart. Writer's block is a real thing. You're not alone, girl. Okay, what do you do for a living, and have you ever considered therapy to help deal with your triggers? I've covered what I do for a living, and yes, therapy has saved my life. When I was 16, I lost my first boyfriend, the love of my life. He was stabbed and then he died. And I think it was in September. So we were going to write our trial exams, and it was just a lot going on. And I just started acting out, and I think my mom just didn't know what to do with me. So she sent me to therapy for the first time. And let me tell you something, at that time I was just like, she's such a bad mother, because I want her to talk to me about these things, not ship me off to another person to talk to about. But later on, I was just like, sending me to therapy was the best thing she could have done for me. Because after that, even when I went to varsity, when I wasn't coping with a lot of things, I would go to those school counselors. And even when I started working, I used to go to therapy a lot. The only reason why I'm not in therapy right now is because I can't afford it and I don't have medical aid. So whenever I have medical aid, trust me, I'm in therapy. So considering therapy for my triggers, definitely therapy is something I believe in. It's just that unfortunately right now, it's not something that I can afford. Okay, I would like to ask if you're okay emotionally with being a single mom. It's a lot to fathom, and there's so much shame that's brought to it through social media that invalidates single moms' feelings. I wanted to ask, do you cry? If so, when do you stop? Also, do you have friends in similar situation? I'm about to cry right now thinking about it. Are you okay emotionally being a single mom? I'm not, but it is my reality and I've had to accept it. I think I said on my previous vlog that only probably a month or 2 months ago, I accepted, you know what? This is my life, this is my reality, and I find myself in this position. I'm not okay. And I know what she's talking about when she talks about the shame. I've carried the shame of being a single mom. I opened this YouTube channel last year. And Alwande was 12, going on 13 when I opened it. So for 12 years, I carried the shame of being a single mom. I never spoke about it. People didn't even know I was a single mom because I never even told anyone about Alwande's father, what he did, and if he was present or not. It was just something I never spoke about because I was carrying the shame. And on top of carrying the shame of being a single mom, social media makes you feel like shit for being a single mom. They tell us we choose deadbeats. Who wakes up and decides, you know what, today I'm going to go find a deadbeat to have a child with, So they shame us by telling us we made bad choices. They shame us by telling us to choose who we have children with, as if umuntu ubhaliwe esiphongweni. So the shame that comes with being a single mom, and they make it seem as if we choose these men on purpose. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to choose you to be my baby daddy because you're a deadbeat and I love deadbeats. So, I carrying the shame of it, it's something that we all do. I've done, and I think last year I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna carry the shame of being a single mom. Like, women stay carrying the shame of whatever happens to them. You get raped, you carry the shame. You get cheated on, you carry the shame. you get left to be a single mother, you carry the shame. And for me, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And I think I would just woke up one day, I was just like, nah, I'm the parent that stayed. Why am I being shamed for it? You know, while he gets to live his life and he gets to get married again. My Alanda's dad is married, and the woman that married him knowing that he's a deadbeat. So it's things like that when I'm just like, men thrive, you know, they thrive in their deadbeatism. Why am I sitting here crying about being a single parent every day as if I did it by myself, you know? And do I cry? Yeah, I cry. I cry a lot. I cry on video, I cry on camera, I cry behind the scenes. I cry, girl. I cry. At what age did you sit down with Alwanda to have the boy talk? Well, I didn't sit down with her. I think that when we sit down with kids and we make this, come, let's have a talk. Let's talk about the birds and the bees. It just makes it awkward, and it makes it awkward for the both of you, I think. And it just makes it so professional, and it's just I don't like that. So I made a very conscious decision that I'm not going to say, come, let's have a talk. But what I did do is, from a young age, when she started, you know, like being curious, I think she was about 5 or 6, I made it very clear that in this house, we talk about anything and everything. If there's something that you want to know, don't feel shame. And how I did that was by talking about my life and my things around Alwande. Like, I don't chase Alwande out when I'm talking about things. Obviously, there are certain things that I protect her from, that I go through. But like, if we're watching a show and they're talking about boyfriends and sex or whatever, we don't switch off the TV. Like, you know how we grew up, we used to watch Bold and the Beautiful, like behind curtains, because you get chased out every time there was like a kissing scene, not even a sex scene. So I tried to not do that with my child. I tried from a very early age to just be like, any time is talk time. Like, if you want to know about boys, if you want to know about sex, if you want to know about anything, you just ask. You know, we have those conversations on a random. So we didn't really sit and talk about it, but I felt like when she was at an age where she started being curious, I then started being open around her. Have you done or considered taking Alwanda to therapy to help process what she's going through with her father's rejection? Definitely. It's something that, you know, like I try to save for. It's something that I'm always like reaching out if there's anyone doing pro bono work, if there's anyone, you know, like some students who are still in training, they do therapy for way cheaper rate. So it's definitely something that's in my radar. It's just that, unfortunately, the thing about therapy is that if therapy was once a month, I definitely would. But in this position that Alwanda is in, she deserves probably once a week. And you know, you guys were like, one session goes for like 1.4, and that's a lot. Unfortunately, I can't afford it, but it is something that I'm actually working towards saving for. She definitely needs it. And I think that even if it wasn't about her father's rejection, I think every teenager needs therapy. Like, you just need an outlet. You need someone to talk to who's not your family, who's not your friend. So if you can and you have a teenage child, please do take them to therapy. I'm working on my finances to make sure that I can afford to take my baby girl to therapy. Load shedding, my beautiful background is gone. I hope the reflection of my gate and everything is not too bad. Hey mommy, how do you deal with the mom guilt? I sometimes feel like I don't spend enough time with my toddler the way I want to. I can't answer. I don't know, because I don't deal with it. Mom guilt is a real thing though. Like, it's either you feel like you're not spending enough time with your kids, and then I feel like I don't spend enough time with my teenager. I really do feel that way. And sometimes I get it, she's a teenager, she probably does not want to spend time with me, but sometimes I feel like I don't even give her the room to ask, but do you actually want to chill with me? You know, like, we do things together, like in this house, like we eat dinner together. That's just like something that we have to do. But even during dinner, she's on her phone, you know, like it seems like she's a teenager at the end of the day. So I do feel guilty about that. But sometimes when the kids are not here, I feel guilty that I'm not with them, even though I feel like I deserve a break from them. It's just the mom guilt. I don't know how to answer that question because I don't know how to deal with it. It's just something that I live with, and I try to make up but every day. Like, if I feel like I've been neglecting Alwande, I will then ask my sister to take care of Milani, and then I'll probably take Alwande out for lunch, or we do something that we enjoy together, and vice versa also. Like, if I feel like maybe I've been neglecting Milani, then I ask my sister to take care of Alwande while I I take care of Milani. I struggle to put my attention both on the kids at the same time, because I feel like Milani is at an age where she's just so needy, and it ends up making Alwande feeling like left out and feeling like maybe I don't love her as much. And so I try to keep that balance. It is very, very hard. I haven't mastered that yet, but as soon as I do, I'll let you guys know. Hi Mandy, what did you study? Do you enjoy what you're doing at the moment? Would you change it if you could? Oh, so this is two questions. I did mention earlier, I studied journalism. Do you enjoy what you're doing at the moment? I actually love writing. I love what I do. I hate that it doesn't pay as much as I would like to be paid, but I wouldn't change it. I honestly just wouldn't change. I love my career. I love what I do, and yeah. Do you think you'll ever find love again? I hope I do. I'm way too young to write love off. Like, I hope I do. And I always look at the likes of Beyonce's mom. She remarried at 61. So I'm just like, hell yeah. I definitely think I will find love again. I hope I will find love again. Like, I deserve it. I love your plants. Where are they from? My plants are from everywhere, you guys. Like, if I go to Pick and Pay and I see a nice plant, I buy. If I go to Woolies and I see a nice plant, I buy. So I don't go to like a nursery to buy plants. I just, wherever I find a plant, like this one is from from Woolies. This one's from Pick and Pay. These two are also from Pick and Pay. So I just buy wherever I see them. I would like to know if your dad has always been present in your life, even during the struggles, and how did he contribute towards your positive upbringing? Girl, I'm glad you think my upbringing was positive. Yeah, my dad has been there since day one. I think he was there during the difficult times and the struggles. I think I mentioned in my video with Alwande that I did block out a lot of my childhood, so I actually don't remember if he was there or not. But I feel like he was there. I do remember him coming to see us. I think him and mom have been on and off for some time. So I think even during those off days, I do remember him coming to visit us. But my dad is very present in my life. But I feel like he's more present in my children's life than he is in my life. But I think that's my fault. I don't know. I don't reach out to him as much as I should. Like, when we're together, it's fun. Like last year, the whole of last year, I lived at home and he was at home and we had a great time. But I do think that he's closer to my children than he is to me. What's your Instagram handle? It's Mandy_Ndlangisa. I'll link it. I'll leave it on the description box. Given that you didn't live much with your firstborn child, how did you manage to build a strong connection with her? This question. I always made sure that Alwande knew I was there. I never missed big days. So first day of school, I was always there. Birthdays, I've always been there. If she had a huge hockey match, I was there. If she had a huge swimming, anything that needed me to be there, I was there. I couldn't obviously be there every day because I lived in Joburg and she was in Durban. But the big moments in her life, I'm there. I made it very clear that that's just something I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop being there. So yeah, like I always just made sure I was there. We speak every day. Well, we would speak every day. She's always known that mom is here. Like, one thing I feel like I did right was stamping my presence in her life and making sure that you know who your mother is. How did your mom take the news of your second pregnancy, considering that it happened out of wedlock for the second time? You know, I get this question a lot about having children out of wedlock. And let me tell you guys, we don't all have the same wants. We don't all view marriage as something that is in our plans or in our future. So, and also another thing, I come from a family that doesn't really care much about marriage. Like, one of my aunts is married or whatever, and I've never, ever in my family been asked if I want to get married. I've never been asked when I'm getting married. Like, I always see these questions on Twitter around December time, people not wanting to go home because their parents are going to ask, oh, when are you getting married and all of that. I've never gotten that question from anyone in my family. And you would think because my grandmother had 4 girls, those 4 girls had girls only, which is me and my cousins. And then me and my cousins now are only giving birth to girls. So you would think because it's a house full of girls, those questions, those conversations happen all the time, but I've never been asked. I know none of my cousins have ever been asked. No one in my family has ever actually cared to ask, do you even want to get married? How do you feel about marriage? So we don't have those conversations. So having a second child out of wedlock, it wasn't even a discussion at home. Like, it wasn't. Now that I think about it, when I told my mom and my grandmother that I was pregnant the second time, they asked me the same question they asked me the first time. Because that's the only thing that matters. But what's his surname, girl? So yeah, the wedlock thing at home is not a thing. So it was never a thing for me. And my family never really made it a thing. And I don't think it will ever be a thing for anybody else. The next question, what's your take on love and marriage? Do you see yourself getting married someday, or are you pro cohabitation? Pro cohabitation for life. You sitting down in one position is a lot. I am pro cohabitation. I'm actually pro do whatever you want with your life. My take on love and marriage is it's beautiful. If that's what you want to do it, Personally, for me, it's not something marriage is not something that I'm working towards. It's not part of my 5-year plan or my 10-year plan, but love is. My take on love is we all deserve love, and we shouldn't be doing this life thing alone. So I do love love. I do like being in love, and I do love having someone in my life. Whether it ends in marriage or not, I'm not against marriage. Let me just say that. But I just don't like the conversations I've heard around marriage when people are not in love with each other anymore, and then you ask them, oh, why don't you just leave? And they say, oh, it's going to be so expensive. Divorce is so expensive. Oh, I can't just leave. You can't just... For me, it's things like that. I don't ever want to be with someone who feels like they can't leave. Like, I feel like when you don't want me anymore, you're more than welcome to leave. Because I do feel like when people don't want you anymore, they treat you like shit. So now you are staying because our family is the family is the church, the what, like you can. I want you to be able to leave whenever you're ready. And also for myself, I want to be able to leave a relationship that doesn't serve me anymore. And maybe that's just a warped perception I have about marriage, but this is what I've heard. For me, like, when it's time for people to leave their marriages, they're always very like, well, I can't. And I don't want that for anyone in my life. I don't want to be in a position where I can't leave someone, and I don't want someone to be in a position where they can't leave me. So that's my thing with marriage, but I'm not against it. If I met like an amazing person and they wanted to get married, we'll just have to have like tough conversations. But like, dude, you must leave when you're ready. Like, don't stay with me because of the kids. Don't stay at me because of the church or the family. Leave because people will treat you like shit. But so that's the only reason why I would say that I don't think about marriage. But outside that, I'm not against it. Would you allow your baby daddies back into your children's lives if one day they decided they wanted to be part of their lives? With Alwande, if I have anything to do with it, it's a no. That man has hurt my child to the core, and he's made her feel like shit. So I don't want her to be around anyone who makes her feel that way. But at the end of the day, it is her decision to make. Yes, she is still under 18 or whatever, but she's smart enough and she's old enough to make her own decisions. So if ever he wants to come back into her life and she wants to have him in her life, that's a conversation then we'll have to have. But like, I'm not stopping anyone. Same thing with Milani. Milani is quite young. So if the father wanted to come back, yeah, why not? Like, every child needs a father. So if they can prove that they will prioritize my child, and if they can prove that they're not the same person that they were when they deserted my children, I don't know. Like, I think I can. Definitely with Milani. With Alwande, honestly, it will have to be a big no because of how he has spoken to her. That's why I would refuse. But if Alwande wants a relationship with him, there's nothing I can do about it. How many streams of income do you have, and what are your side hustles? How much do they pay? Listen, I have a 9-to-5 job, ne? And I recently, guys, I know that on I think my 2 previous videos I speak about my side hustle. My side hustle started in May, last month. Before that, I only had 1 stream of income, which was my job. And then last month, a friend of mine because I'm a writer, I also have to say, because I'm a writer, getting a side hustle as a writer, it's easy. Everyone is always looking for a writer. I've had a lot of people inboxing me, asking me to help them with side hustles. Unfortunately, my side hustle is not like selling something or doing something out of what I do every day anyway. I'm a writer, and my side hustles is freelance copywriting. So that's what I do. So I guess those are the two streams of income. How much do they pay? I mean, as a writer, it's up to you if you charge per word or per hour. I choose to charge per word. I feel like it's way more money, so I charge anything between R3.50 to R5 a word. And so depending, if the article is 500 words, sometimes the article can be 2,000 words, you know. So that's how much I charge. So yeah, I only have, I guess now I have two, but also my side hustle is not like steady. Like 1 week they want a writer, the next they don't. Like for June, I don't think I've done anything. Yeah, May was a good month for my side hustle. June has been quiet. I don't know what's going to happen in July. So hope that answers your question, Tato M. Hey Mandy, it is your words that you hate your baby daddies in general, or do you hate all men? Since sometimes you get triggered by those who are present in their children's lives, or is it just the two men that you hate? I don't hate all men. I just hate my baby daddy. That's it. And I think I've mentioned this, that I actually don't hate anyone except him. Like my first baby daddy, he's the only person that I hate. Milan is dead. I don't hate him. Like I don't know how I feel about him. I don't think about him, but I don't hate him. I know for sure I don't hate him. I just hate my baby daddy. All men, shame. I don't hate men. Don't worry about it, girl. Hey mommy, how was it being pregnant with your first child? Did you have any support during and after the pregnancy? Because yay, it's hard. I'm only 22 and it's just me and my boyfriend. Being pregnant with my first child was hard. It was obviously my first pregnancy. I was young. I was a student. I had no business being pregnant. I don't think my body was ready. Emotionally, financially, I wasn't ready. But I had support. One thing I've always had in my life is support. My friends at school supported me. My family supported me. Literally everyone except my baby daddy supported me. So I think if it wasn't for their support, I wouldn't have made it far. But I did have support, and I think that's the most important thing that you can have. So at least I'm glad that you have your baby daddy. Also, 22 is still, you know, they say, Guti, if you are pregnant before 30, it's teenage pregnancy. I believe it. 22 is young. But I'm glad that you do have your boyfriend / baby daddy to help you through those hard moments, because it can get hard. Okay, so a lot of you guys, one common thread in all of these questions that I received is all of you want to know if I'm dating. I am not dating. I haven't dated in almost 2 years now. My vagina probably thinks I'm dead. I mean, I shock it now and then by getting a wax, just to remind her, but girl, I'm still here. But I'm not dating, you guys, and I haven't dated in a long time. I haven't been with anyone in a long time. In the beginning, it was a conscious decision that I made. I just made a decision that I'm not going to date because, Milani's dad showed me flames. My last relationship showed me flames. And in fact, I just didn't want to have anything to do with men, relationships, dating, and I was so broken that I just wanted to heal, and I wanted to spend my time getting myself back, because I lost myself in that heartbreak. That heartbreak broke me. I lost myself, and I made a conscious decision to spend at least a year building myself back, and I did that last year. And I moved back home last year. That's how bad the heartbreak was. I moved back to my mama's house in Durban. It was easy to move because I was working from home. So, when you're working from home, it doesn't really matter where you're working from. So I moved back to my mother's house to go repair my broken heart. And I did exactly that. Like the whole of 2021, literally, I spent it rebuilding myself, rebuilding my confidence. And then 2022 started. I haven't really been thinking much about dating, but I'm single, you guys, yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm single, and a lot of you are asking me that. I am very single, but I feel like I'm open now. There was a time where I didn't even, as a man, don't look at my direction, look the other way. Now I'm like, okay, it wouldn't be so bad. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I do have days where I get lonely. I do have days where I miss companionship. I do have days where when something good happens, I want to tell that specific person. I mean, I tell my sister and I tell my friends everything that good that happens to me. But like sometimes I just want to tell my person. And I get echo. So I do feel like I'm open. It's just that hey, it's just weird for me at this point. But I do feel like I'm open. So if you have a brother, a cousin, a friend, anybody you think would be good for me and not be good for, holla at your girl. I like my men tall, like most of us, but I'm a short girl, so getting a tall man is not going to be that hard. And I like my men closer, but I mean, you know, I'm open to anything now. And yeah, I'm open to all tribes, all nationalities, but I like my man black. So please make sure he's black. Thank you. Hey mama, what does dating look like for you as a single parent with minimal time because I'm struggling and I only have one child? One of the reasons why I'm not dating is because I don't have the time. And maybe I do have the time, but like how I don't know what dating looks like for me. I have a friend who's got 2 kids as well, and she lives in Cape Town, and she recently, well, I think they've been dating for over a year now, her and her boyfriend. And her boyfriend is so involved in her children's lives, and she's so happy. And I'm always just like, when I look at her pictures and I look at her posts, and I'm just like, yo, bruh, like I actually want this, but I don't see how it looks like for me because I don't have a nanny. So if I date, who am I leaving my kids with when I go on a date? Who am I living with my kids with when I want to go sleep over at my boyfriend's place, you know? So dating for me currently it looks expensive because then I would have to hire a nanny every time I want to go sleep over at my boyfriend's place. And also, does he come sleep over? Does he, like, I have a lot of questions. I think last year I didn't date because I was healing my heart. And this year I feel like, okay, cool, I might be ready to love again. But then what does it look like? I don't know. Like, I really just don't know. And yeah, it's just that for me. But what does dating look like? What do I do because I don't have a nanny? Unless if I date like a man with like real money who's gonna hire out a nanny every time he wants to be with me, that would be nice. But I mean, realistically, I don't know what dating is looking like for me, and I think that's why I've just been pushing it out. But as mentioned previously, I think I'm ready now, and we'll see. We'll see. How do you cope with 2 kids financially? Does your family help you? Yes. I could never do this by myself. Well, with Milani, her dad is there financially. So Milani is not really that much of a stress because he does contribute financially. With Alwande, I only, like this month, we are on the 24th of June today. On the 27th, I'm only going to be getting my 2nd paycheck from her father in 14 years. So I've basically been doing this by myself for the past 14 years. And it's not easy. It's hard, you know, but as mentioned, I do have support. My mom and my sister support me, well, support my kids financially. This year has been a bit better though. But in the past, yeah, like my mom has been doing the most with Alwande. You know, she's been paying her school fees when she still lived in Durban. My sister helps out whenever she can, whether it's adding to our groceries or whatever it is that we want to do, Shame. I do have support from my family, so I'm always grateful for that. What was your childhood like, and what are your red flags in relationships? Hey, Amanda, Bizo. My childhood was, I don't want to talk about my, I just, I know I said I was going to answer every question truthfully and honestly, but I didn't have the best childhood, but I did have love. I got a lot of love from my grandmother and my mother. One thing I do remember about my childhood, there was a lot of love. And what are my red flags in a relationship? So I've been talking to a few guys here and there, and now the minute a guy talks shit about his baby mama, that's a huge red flag for me. And worse, if you feel that comfortable to talk shit about your baby mama to me. I am very loud about my stance on single mothers. I'm very loud about my stance on absent fathers. So when a man feels comfortable to talk shit about their baby mama to me, I'm always just like, listen, I don't care what she did. And I understand better. There are some, I don't know what to say, like difficult baby mamas, for lack of a better word, but no man should ever feel comfortable enough to talk about their baby mama or their ex to me. I don't want to hear that your ex was crazy. I don't want to hear that your baby mama is bitter. The minute you start talking ill of the woman in your life or the woman in your previous, like the woman you've dealt with previously, I run. I just wanted to know if you're open to getting married should Mr. Right come along. I've covered this one. I'm not against marriage, but I'm open to date. I'm open to being in a relationship. I'm open to being in a monogamous relationship. Yeah. So I'm going to cut part 1 off here. I will continue with the questions on the next video. Well, it's going to be the same video, just divided into 2. I'll post it sometime, I don't know, next week. I hope you did get your questions answered. If you didn't get your questions answered on part 1, definitely I'll be back on part 2. So thank you so much for watching part 1, and I will see you next time.